Hi there, welcome to navigation menu tutorial in HTML and CSS. In this tutorial, I will show you how to create a navigation menu using HTML nav tag and styling the menu items in CSS. My name is Chris Mutuma from Ikich Programming. Let's begin. As mentioned in the introduction of this tutorial, we are going to create a menu navigation using HTML and CSS. I have a folder on the desktop and I've named that folder menu navigation. If I open the folder, I have another folder inside the menu navigation named IMG. Inside the IMG folder, I have two images. I have the logo and I have the background that will be set on the body of our HTML. So I'm going to close that and I'm going to use Sublime Text Editor. So I'll click on Sublime Text on my taskbar. Now I need to make sure that my folder appears on the sidebar. So I have to go to File and then Open Folder, and then I'll select my folder navigation and my folder appears there. The next thing now is to create our HTML file. So I'll go to File, click New File, then I'll go back to File and go to Save, and I'll save this in my menu navigation folder and type the file name will be index.html because it's an HTML file. So inside the index.html file, I'm going to create the basic structure of an HTML document by typing HTML and pressing the tab key, and Sublime Text will populate the HTML basic structure automatically. So Sublime Text has that way of making your work easier, a shortcut way of populating the HTML structure. Then I'm going to give a title to my HTML document, which is menu navigation. Let's keep the title of our folder as our title for the HTML. Then under the body tag, I'm going to create a nav tag by typing nav then tab key, which helps me to open and close the nav tag. Then I'll enter, and inside the nav tag, I'll create an ordered list. Press tab, then press enter. Then I'll create a list item by clicking tab again. Sublime Text will open for me the tag and close. Then I'll create an anchor tag and press tab again. And inside this, in between now the anchor tag, the opening and the closing anchor tag, I'll type home. This will be our first link. Alright, so I'll copy this 3 more times. Then I'll change the second one from home to about. Then I'll change the third one to services. Then the last one, change it to contacts. Alright. Now that we have our nav tag, let me explain this shortly. So the nav tag, the opening and the closing nav tags, are the containers of the unordered list. The unordered list is the container of the list items, and the list items are the containers of the anchor tags. Now the next thing I need to do is create a CSS file so that we can be able to style our nav tags. I'm going to go to File, New File, then go back to File, Save. Guys, here you can use keyboard shortcuts as well. Now I'm going to type style.css and save that, and my style.css file appears here. Now I'll go back to my index.html and save it, make sure that it's saved. Then inside now I have to link the style.css file to my HTML index.html. So how do we do that? So we link our style sheet inside the head tag. So in between the head tags where you can see there is a title, below it I'm going to link my style sheet. So it's a link which is a style sheet and of type text /css, and then I'll give the href, which is the location of our file. so which is still inside our folder menu navigation. So I type it style.css. All right, so that is correct. Now the next thing now is for us to go to style.css. Now inside style.css, the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to reset HTML default settings, and I'm going to reset margin. Okay, before I do that, guys, let me just save that and go to the desktop and run this index.html file. So guys, if you look at this file, you can see there is a margin here from the left. These bullets have been indented, okay, and on the top there is spacing between the top and home, so there is this white space. So when I'm talking about resetting default HTML, that means that I want to change, or rather to reset the margins and the padding for that matter. So I'll come here inside the reset, that is the asterisks, then the curly braces. Then I'm going to type margin, then I'll set it to 0. So you can either put 0 pixels or just leave it at 0. Then padding, again give it 0. Then if I save that and come back to my file and run it, now you can see the spaces that were here, the margin, they have been removed, and now you cannot even see the bullet points that we had earlier. So this helps in making sure that your files, or rather your document, is well structured and well styled. Then again, I'm going to reset the font family from the default one and set it to Montserrat and save that. Which, if I come back and refresh, you can see this text. Let me zoom for you guys a little bit to see. So you can see the font family has changed. I'll set that. Then I'll come back now. Now the next thing that we are going to handle is the body. So I'll come in my style.css and type body, curly braces, and now here I'm going to set a background. I can go with that URL, and now inside this URL I'm going to explicitly link my image, or rather enter the path of the image, which is the image is under img bg.jpg. So that's what I'm going to enter here, img, then /bg.jpg. Then background size is cover. Then I'll do background repeat and set it to no repeat. Then I'll save that, come back to my project on the browser, I'll refresh, and you can see now we have this nice image set as the background of our body in HTML. Then the next thing, now we need to style these links, okay, to make sure that they appear nicely. So I'll go back to styles.css. Then I'll go out and style the nav tag itself. Now the nav tag is, or rather the nav is the container that is holding these links. All right. So the first thing on this nav, I'm going to set a width of 100%. Then I'll set a height of 80 pixels. Okay. Then I'll set a background color of white. I'll use hexadecimals here, and then save that. Then I'll come and refresh. You can see now we have this container with a white color, with a height of 80 pixels and a width of 100%, and the color is white. Then the next thing we are going to style is our nav unordered list. Go nav ul, and then we are going to float the ULs to left. Everything should be left float. Then the margin right, or rather, okay, I'll not enter that now. The next thing is nav ul list. So now the list items. So if I come back, now we want to style the list items. So the list items, we are going to first of all remove the bullets by saying restyle to none. Okay. Then we are going to display. We want now to display them next to each other rather than below each other. So this display inline block. Then I'll give them a font size, which again I can choose to do the font size inside the reset. Okay, but now let me go with this to 18 pixels. Then I need also to transform the text transform and set it to uppercase. Then I'm going to float to left so that we can remove the spacing between them. Okay, before I do that, let me show you what I mean by refreshing. Now you can see now that our list items are being displayed next to each other, not below each other. Now again, now you can see there's a space here that I want to get rid of, so that when we will be applying a padding, we will be able to have even spacing. So we are going to remove that by setting float to left. When we set float to left and we refresh, I want you to pay attention. Let me just zoom a little bit. If I refresh, you can see now the spacing is gone. The spacing is gone. All right, then I'll come back and leave it to that for now. Let's move on. Go to install nav, another list, then the anchor tag, which is our link now. So we are going to, first of all, make sure that we remove the underline, which is text decoration, set to none. So if you save that and zoom in and refresh, you can see now the underline is gone. Zoom out again. That's good. All right, then the next thing, I'll change the color of our anchor tags to 4C. Then I'll put a hash in front. Then I'll display them. Okay, I'll not use the display here right now. I'm going to show you the display block, what it means. And I'll refresh. So you can see I've given them a light gray, a light black color, rather than let's say it's a gray color. Now the next thing that I want to do is to apply padding so that we can now have spacing between the links, individual links to have their own spacing. All right, so which is under the nav, another list. Here we are going to set up padding, and top bottom I'm going to use 0 pixels. I don't want to apply any padding on top or bottom of my list items. Then I'll do 20 pixels from left and right. If I do that and save that and refresh, you can see now we have a 20 pixel padding applied to our list items. Now, as you can see now, our items are not sitting very well. So I want them to sit in the middle of our container. See now our white 80 pixels height. So I need these list items to sit in the middle. So how do I do that? So I go back to them and set a line height equal to the height of the nav. And that will center that very nicely. Let's see that. As you can see now, my menu items have been centered. Then the next thing, I want to move these menu items from left and let them sit to the right. So how do I achieve that? So to achieve that, the first thing is to float to the right. I'm going to float this to the right. See, and that goes to the right. Okay. The next thing that we are going to alter, I'm also going to alter the letter spacing. That is for these letters, each individual letter, I want to create some spacing. So inside the nav UL list styling, I'll go and say letter spacing and give it around, let's say 5 pixels. Save that. And I save that and refresh. You can see now there's some spacing. There's spacing. Okay, that's too much. Let me do 2 pixels. And that's, let's see, yeah, that's better. Okay. So then again, I'm going to do, because now you can see the menu items are so close to the margin to the right? So I need to change, or rather I need to move them a little bit away from the margin for clarity purposes to create some clearance to the margin. So inside the nav unordered list, as you remember when I was explaining that the UL is the container of the list items. So now I have to move now the entire list item using the container UL. So I'll come here again. Below that, I'll say margin right. That is what you want to change to create some clearance. So margin right, I give it 50 pixels and we come back. So you can see now I've created some space. All right. So now the next thing that we are going to work on is the display block that I wanted to apply here earlier. And then I said that I'll explain to you what it means. So when you come here and you move your mouse pointer, it doesn't change to a hand pointer like when I hover over the link itself. But now I want when I hover on this space here so that it can be able to change. So for me to do that, I need to set display as block. All right, then I'll save that and I refresh. So now I want you to see the difference. Now when I come here, immediately the pointer changes now to the add pointer. Now the next thing now that we need to create is the hover effect. So we are going to create the hover effect on our nav, an ordered list, anchor, and hover. All right. Then now here we are going now to change the color. All right, change the color to ash 0 B6 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 9FF. These are a blue color, and if I refresh and I hover, you can see now the color changes. Okay, so now our menu is taking shape. Now we need to include the logo of our company and the company name. So I have to go back to my index.html, and inside the nav tag, I'll create some enter, and I'll create an img tab. And then on this img, I'm going to link the logo here by putting the location of the logo, which is img, and / then logo.png. Then I'll do a paragraph for the name of the company, or rather the site title, Triangle Inc. This is an imaginary name. Then I'll refresh. So now you can see now my menus are going all over. They are going crazy on me. But don't you worry, we are going now to style this and make sure now the logo appears very nicely. And again, now the name appears very nicely, and our menus will go back to where they belong. So come back to my style.css, and below, immediately below the nav, I'll come and type nav img. So now we want to style the image. Okay, so now styling the image, we are going to start with floating the image to the left. Then I'll set a width of around 120 pixels, and I'll set the height of 80 pixels, and give it a line height again of 80 pixels so as to center it in the middle of the container. So if I come and refresh, now you can see now the image has taken shape and it is sitting very nicely. So the next part now, after this, now we go and now style the nav p tag, the paragraph. Again, we have to float it to the left, and secondly, we give it a line height of 80 pixels to center it again. So if we come back and refresh, now you can see everything sits down pretty well. Now the next thing is I'm going to change the color of my paragraph, rather than the site title. The color that I'm going to give this is again the same with the menus, that is 4C 4C 4C. Then I'll transform the text to uppercase as well, and also change the font size. So if I refresh that now, you can see now the menu looks pretty. You see everything sits where it's supposed to sit, and our background image very nice. All right guys, so that's all I had for you today. Thank you for watching.